Freshwater scarcity is a growing concern across many U.S. households, and Nestle's managed to send alarm bells ringing among environmental activists in Florida who are fighting against the company's request to dramatically increase how much fresh water it extracts for bottling every year. I have legal journalist Molly Barrows here to walk us through this. Molly, exactly how much fresh water is Nestle stealing from the American public?
Well, they would like to steal about 1.2 million gallons a day.
In Florida alone.
In Florida alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I'm looking into this, I realize that these the complaints that environmentalists have about Nestle here are popping up all over the country, all over the world. But in this particular case, this is Ginnie Springs, Gilchrist County, Florida, and this one particular company, let's see, what's it called? Seven Springs. They're the ones that actually have the permit to the wells, and they've been working with bottled water companies for a number of years, and for the past 20 years, even though their permit says they can take up to 1.2 million gallons, they've really traditionally only taken about a quarter of that. Well, now Nestle has asked to take the full amount, and environmentalists and local activists are really upset about it because they say that studies have shown these water levels are already low. You've got the nearby Santa Fe River. 4 years ago, they did some studies and they found that it's already low. Part of the reason it's low is because of groundwater pumping as well. You've got nearby agriculture sites. But in essence, these springs are starting to drop, and they're saying if we let Nestle take all this water, it's going to cause problems for the environment.
Let's distill this water.
Yes.
Here it is. Here's how we boil this water down. Nestle is taking a natural resource from Florida and not paying anything.
Just the $115 permit fee.
$115. They take
fee.
1.3 million gallons of water. Nobody gets paid for it. Nestle puts it in a bottle, sells it for God knows how much of an increase. Taxpayers have to pay. And this is the other part of it. Nestle then externalizes all the risks to Florida if we have a water shortage.
That's right.
If we have a problem from this, taxpayers have to pay this. They had the same problem in California, didn't they?
Yes.
They got really hammered in California for
San
this.
Bernardino Forest. I mean, this has been an ongoing thing for a long time. State regulators are saying you're taking this water illegally. You basically pumped it dry in a place that's prone to forest fires. As you know, we're handling litigation with the Woolsey fire out there. But at any rate, this has been an ongoing situation with Nestle saying we've got full rights to take this. 45 million gallons alone last year that they took from a drought-infested area.
They don't have rights if activists get involved. Are activists getting involved in this thing?
They are. Activists and state regulators in California are involved. Activists are definitely getting involved in the Ginnie Springs thing as well. In fact, there is a petition, change.org, basically saying stop Nestle from bottling Florida's water at Ginnie Springs. Their goal is 75,000 signatures. They've almost got 74,000. So there's a lot of push. There's a lot of support against this because even though agricultural companies request larger permits than what Nestle's asking to take from Ginnie Springs, the problem is there is so much, the water levels are lowering because of groundwater pumping, because of agriculture, and they see this as an opportunity to really bring to light that Florida is not managing their water properly.
I'm trying to understand how in the world the Florida residents have any benefit here. There's zero benefit. So this cat, Seven Springs, comes in. He bought the water rights. That's all he did. It's like an oil company going and I want to buy your mineral rights. I want to buy your oil rights in Texas. Okay?
Access to the well.
Same thing. So this guy owns those water rights. Now he's saying I'm going to basically sell them. I'm going to make a profit
off a natural resource.
Off a natural resource that I'm selling now to Nestle. The taxpayer has to bear the brunt of that.
Right.
Nestle pays nothing to the taxpayer. Zero.
And it's coming up over and over again. In Michigan, there's complaints about the Dead River. They've pumped millions of gallons out of that. It's a constant battle back and forth, legal battles in court between the state of Michigan as well as Nestle over their access to those natural resources. There's a small town in France that's basically saying the same thing. That Nestle,
South America, they ran them out of part of South America.
Interesting. But it's over and over again the same thing. How do they come in? I'm curious. I'd like to look into some more and just basically say, what, do they get permission from, like you said, the person who has the permit or maybe the private landowner, and then they basically steal what could potentially flow on to benefit everyone, like taxpayers and citizens?
What if you're a taxpayer living along the river that's already projected to be affected by this? Now, Nestle comes back and says what they always say, oh, well, it's only going to be a half an inch, if anything, over the next 10 years. So you hear those types
That's exactly what Seven Springs said about Ginnie Springs. They said, y'all are just worrying about nothing. We've done some studies, and the amount they want to take, it's only going to affect the water levels by lowering it less than an inch.
And they say that because they're the ones making the money. Nestle's is making the money. Seven Springs, who sells this to Nestle's, making the money. And it's a natural resource that is owned by the commons. It's owned by the commons, the taxpayers, and all of a sudden we ignore that like, well, that's just not important.
Well, people need to check out this online petition. They need to read up on this as well.
Yeah, let's put it up on our screen so people can actually file a petition if they want to.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining me, Molly.
Thanks, Pat.